Hi, my name is Natasha and welcome to the Soft Adornments Knitting Podcast. This is episode 2, so if you watched episode 1, thank you so much for watching and for coming back. So if this is your first time, I'll say a little bit about myself. So my name is Natasha, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and I've been knitting on and off since I was a child, but I've been knitting more seriously now for about like 3 or 4 years, and I love knitting. I love making clothes. I've started to explore other crafts that are related to knitting so that I can, just get to know garment making and designing in so many different ways. So in this podcast, I talk about what I'm working on. I talk about, my works in progress, my WIPs. I also talk about my finished objects, and today that's going to involve some knits and some spins, which I'm really excited to show you. So I'm going to start with my finished objects today. So I'll start with what I'm wearing. In the last podcast, this was in the form of skeins of yarn that I had unboxed on camera and that my friend had gotten for me as a kit for the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along 2021, which was called Shawlography. And I am just blown away at my friend's generosity and for how well she knows me, that like these colors, like while I don't know if I would have picked them up in the store, but like now that I've knit them, they go so well together and they really pop, and I just love wearing it out. It could use a good wash because I have been wearing it so much that it's definitely due for a wash, but it's well loved. I love how it drapes. It has such fun textures, and I wear it at home, I wear it out. I love it. This was during my shawl kick of 2021, where I knit 2 Stephen West shawls in the second half of 2021, which is wild. But my brain is kind of like that. Like when I hyperfixate on something, I'm just going to be obsessed with doing that one thing for a really short period of time, and then I'll move on from it. But it got 2 really beautiful shawls out of it, so can't complain. And this yarn is by Wandering Flock, and this was, like I said, their pastel tone kit for Shawlography. So next I have a few more finished objects. I'll just start with this one. So this is just a self-drafted little glove, like a fingerless glove. I really wanted to use these little minis, these jam jar minis by my good friends over at Starbath Dyes. I was so excited to try to self-draft a glove. And then I realized I probably should have done like a raglan increase type of thing for the thumb instead of like trying to pick up stitches, because that really didn't work. So we have like a semi-functional fingerless glove, it's been blocked and everything. The pattern is also self-drafted. I kind of just drew out the squiggle in my notebook and then kind of vibed the rest of it. It was wild. Like I had so many little bobbins of yarn going just for this tiny little glove, but I had a lot of fun. It felt like kind of painting with yarn, which I really liked. And I don't know if I'll make a matching one of this, but I definitely want to try to use the rest of this yarn for a different glove experiment, but one where I actually build out like a little gusset or a little raglan seam or what have you for the thumb. I think it'd be pretty easy. Like you just kind of increase this way, and then once you get here, it's kind of like this is the armpit, and then you like when you separate sleeves and body, I bet you would either put these stitches on hold for the thumb and then pick up stitches and then pick up stitches here. I don't know, something like that. You knitters will know what I'm talking about. So that's my little glove experiment. I also knit this Selbu cowl. And this was a non-superwash wool that I picked up at my local yarn store. And I was really excited about it because I really wanted to try like a complex colorwork pattern, like a complex stranded colorwork pattern, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's this like really swirly kind of, I believe it's a traditional Finnish design, but in any case, it's so cute. I think I kind of messed up either the bind off or the cast on, because one side is like this side is a little more tight than this side, as you can see. So in order for it to feel warm, I kind of have to make sure I have the big side on the bottom. So let's see if this will work with my shawl. Oh, and I love wearing this under sweatshirts or like under a jacket, like zipped all the way up, and it just like, it retains the heat so well. This winter we had such a sudden snowstorm. I was, and I don't do well in the cold, so I really need to make sure that I'm insulated, that I'm wearing gloves, and I just really started to appreciate the value of woolen knits under parkas or windbreakers or something like that. Like, it creates such a like insulating layer, and it doesn't get you sweaty, and it just like, the windbreaker part like shields the cold air from getting through. It's just like so good. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, let me fix my hair and hope that Pookie doesn't knock over the camera. Pookie, be careful. Oh, of course, I got a little haircut since the last podcast, of course. I have wanted to have my hair short for so long, and I just kind of went for it. I mean, in the pandemic, I think I just started to realize not to wait for things I want and to just get them. So I went for it, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like, I'm not usually one to like hair in my face. Like, I would always have my hair like in a ponytail, or like when it was really long, I had it like in long braid. In my culture, like in Pakistani culture, Desi culture, South Asian culture, like hair is such a big deal, and you have to like keep your hair like healthy, and you have to put oil in it, and like, you know, it has to look shiny, and like you have to keep up with it, and it's just like, it's so much work. Like, for me, it was too much upkeep. It was so cute. I loved having my little braid, but it just like didn't feel good. And I would have it like to here a lot, because also I just got lazy and I didn't want to grow it out any longer. But the last time I cut it short from long was in 2017. So it went from here to here, and then I just kind of went shorter and shorter, and now I'm here. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm excited to try a slightly different hairstyle, and like just, you know, try out different short hairstyles I see until I want to grow my hair back out. So yeah. Okay. Last finished object I'm going to show today is my finished cozy classic raglan. This I made for Jacob, and he's been wearing it a lot, and it actually like has quite a different feel to it than when I had finished it. Like, it definitely feels like more of a sweater rather than kind of a more like bulky yarn like project, you know what I mean? Like, it had more stiffness to it, but now that I'm kind of manipulating it, it really does kind of drape and flow like just a garment, and that feels so good to see. I had him try it on like so many times, so it fits him perfectly. It's the right length. I used like 5 skeins of universal yarn, DK tweed on this in the color like oatmeal. I think it's just oats, but something like that. And then, as you can see, I put some elastic thread in the collar so that it really gets that like crew neck, like snug look. And it's not even that tight. It's woven through every other like knit bump on the wrong side of the ribbing, and it's woven with just enough tension to like kind of compress the ribbing a bit, but like definitely like with enough give that you can stretch it and not risk harming like how you've woven it in. So if anybody's interested in wanting to do that, I can just send you the YouTube video I learned how to do it from. Super easy. And I've done it on other sweaters too. I did it on my koi tee because I was kind of falling off my shoulders, and now I didn't want to do that one super tight, and that's the shirt I'm wearing in my last podcast. But yeah, I didn't want to put the elastic on that super tight because it's meant to have more of like a square neckline. So I kind of did it enough just so that it would like sit on my collar and not fall off. But highly recommend elastic thread. You can get it at like any Joann's or craft store, really. Okay, on to works in progress. So I keep scrappy projects in like shoe boxes just because I want to contain all of like the balls of yarn, and I don't have many project bags, so this is kind of what I do. So this is my Cozy Classic Light. Right there. It's so exciting. I'm so excited to show this to y'all in this form. This obviously is in a lot of different yarns. There were some mini skeins that I had gotten from the Ramadan Advent calendar in 2020. And so this blue and this emerald green are from that. And as you can probably tell, I don't wear those colors a lot, so I wasn't really sure how to use them. So I decided to challenge myself to fade them into like a kind of rainbow effect. But I didn't want to do like the Roy G. Biv kind of rainbow where you start with red and orange, yellow. I wanted to start with this blue and just kind of go from there. And I didn't really follow any like fade formula or anything. I just kind of wanted to go and like hold it up and feel out where the colors were going to hit, and use that as my guide rather than like a formula of like A, B, A, B, A, B, B, A, or whatever. And I know that Jessie May has a formula in her pattern, so I just wanted to like try my own kind of paint by yarn situation. And I'm using some of the leftover yarn from this shawl, which is really fun, like this neon yellow, this orange and pink, and one of the purples, and this kind of light colored yarn. Those are the 5 yarns I used in my shawl. So those are by Wandering Flock, and I have some mohair from, what's it called again? Hedgehog Fibers. Yeah, and I just threw some mohair in there, like just for a few rows, just to give it like a little bit of halo. Like it's like a 2 rows of mohair and then a few rows and then 2 rows of mohair and then 1 row. So it's like not a solid block of mohair, but it does give the kind of the effect that there's like a thick stripe of mohair here. And I kind of really like that. So as you can see, I'm close to binding off the body, so I'll probably post pictures of me trying it on soon, which I'm very excited about. And I want to make this a long sleeve because, as you can see, I have plenty of yarn left over, so there's no reason not to make it a long sleeve. And I think that where this is going to hit, I can probably get away with doing a little bit more orange and a little bit more yellow, so I'm hoping that we get to see more of those colors. I also need to do a quick fix because I just dropped like 5 stitches by throwing this project around. See, what's funny is this kind of thing would have made me panic like 5-6 years ago, because I wouldn't know that like, oh, it's totally fine, like this kind of stuff happens, like, you know, with experience you'll be able to just like calmly pick up these stitches and not like freak out. But yeah, where I was at a few years ago, this would have just, and honestly, this would have just made me give up on the project. But with a few movements and a little patience, then you get all your stitches back on your needles in the right orientation, and then you're good. And then you scoot them back so that they don't do that again. I'm very excited about this. Okay, next work in progress is my Mio Mighty. I believe this was just a little ring of fabric down here with just a couple stripes. But now we've got full stripes going, we've got a little collar going. I'm very excited about it. In fact, let me try it on really quick. Ooh, I love how this feels. I actually already tried to pick up stitches for the sleeves, but I was trying to continue the striping onto the sleeves, but like going like this way, and it was really hard because the sleeves use short row shaping, so I had to like try to do short rows. Actually, while I was doing the short rows, it was fine to pick up different yarn colors because you're doing it flat, but then when you had to go back to doing it in the round, I couldn't really do my intarsia method anymore, and then I was just like, okay, fuck it, I just don't want to do this anymore. And then I ripped the sleeves because they didn't end up looking good at that point. So I'm considering either just putting some ribbing here and making it more of a vest, or doing the sleeves but doing like one green and then like one the variegated, because I don't want to deal with the striping. That was way too much. But I really love how it feels. Oh my gosh. So this is in Starbath Dyes yarns. One of them is Tender Love and Care, the green one, and then this one is Ritual. And I really love how they stripe together. Like Ritual in the skein kind of looks like it'll be more neutral, but I love how poppy it is in this, where the green ends up being the more neutral color. I was so excited to use them together, and I have no regrets at all. So I don't know. What do you think I should do with this vest? If you have thoughts, let me know. But that's where we're at with that one. Okay, another hair adjustment. And if my hair looks ridiculous, please be nice about it. I'm still learning how to have short hair. Everyone take a sip of water. Yes. No, we need full coverage of the shoulders and back. None of this riding up stuff. It's like that feeling that you get when like your sock rides up in your shoe and then you have to walk on your sock until you fix it. I hate that feeling. Okay, so this big ass bag is my test knit for the knitting game, and this is the Diamond Shards sweater. So I'm not wearing my glasses. I have a little under a month to finish this. I think I'm good. This is like my first bulky project on knitting since I got good at knitting. And I thought I would like bulky knitting more, but I don't. I really, I prefer like the little motions of fingering weight, because on these huge needles and this huge yarn, I really have to I have to move my wrists rather than like, I mean, I guess you do move your wrists on fingering weight, but I feel like I really have to like do this when I'm knitting bulky weight. So that's just me and my, I guess, like sensory issues. But for the pattern itself, it's really cute. The testing call came when I was in my really deep color work phase, so it was perfect. It was also perfect because it allows me to use up this yarn that I'm making it with, which I have had in my stash for so long, and because it's bulky, it takes up a lot of room. It takes up a lot of room in these like bins I have in my room. I was gonna make a crochet project out of them, but then I kind of stopped crocheting for a while, so they just kind of languished. It's Bernat roving. They call it roving, but it's not really. I mean, it's like loosely spun wool that's been treated somehow. So it's like 80% wool, 20% acrylic. So we'll see how it ends up draping, because right now how it's going, it's a little boxy. So we'll see how it ends up. I hope it ends up looking good on me. If not, I'll have to try making this pattern with a different yarn, probably not an acrylic one. I would love to see how this would look on like something more woolen. But at least the good thing about bulky is that it does knit up quite fast. So there is that. And I am almost done. I'm like 1 or 2 rows away from the color work being done. So I feel like it'll zoom by pretty fast. So my last work in progress I'm going to show you is, there's not really much to look at. It's a cast on, or it's cast on plus a few rows of the slip extravaganza. I'm knitting this for my mom, don't tell her. I'm very behind on it, obviously. But, so yes, this is my beginnings of a slip extravaganza. I'm using this white, pink with green speckles as the main color, I believe. And then the two contrasting colors are navy blue and dark purple, because my mom likes really autumnal colors. So I think that she'll really like it. She's not a big like neon colors kind of person, so I think this kind of like moody color, those moody colors offset by this like lighter pinky kind of yarn, I think will look really good in the end. And it gives me the opportunity to use both skeins I had of this because I didn't want to break up that pair. Oh, and then the fifth yarn is just a cream kind of, another cream contrast color, but because this one has so much pink in it, it kind of even makes the lighter parts toned with pink, so I think that this will contrast with this pretty well too. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how it turns out. And that's all my knitting works in progress. There are more things in here, but I have not made progress on any of them, so we will not be talking about them. Well, what else I've been doing is I've been spinning. So you may have seen me get some fiber in my last podcast. I have not spun that fiber yet, but I did spin the little fluff that was in it, and I spun the fiber that I already had. All my fiber is from Frida at Kumasi, and this one's Corriedale, and this one is Falkland, as is the fiber I have in my stash that I am starting to spin just now. Spinning is so much fun. It's such a good way to kind of get your fiber fix without like thinking too much. Like sometimes there's some days where my brain just like does not have knitting in me. Maybe it's because I burned myself out or I'm putting too much pressure on myself, but those days I just like need something else to do, or sometimes like before bed, like I don't have it in me to like think about how many stitches and increasing and blah blah blah. So spinning is great for that. It's literally just like draft, spin, draft, spin, draft, spin. Oh, the fiber broke, fix, draft, spin. It's just, there's like, it's just so simple, and like once you get the motion going, it's really addicting too. And it's really squishy. So as you can see, it's 2-ply. I didn't really have any specific agenda for spinning it. I just kind of used this as my first, fiber and just kind of spun however. But with my new spin, what I want to do is like split the fiber down the middle and then spin the single starting one way and then spin the other single doing the other way. And then I'll do my Andean plying like I did because I just have one drop spindle. And then hopefully it should, I don't know what that's called. Is that fractal chain plying? I don't know. But hopefully that'll do the thing where it's like the color at one end meets the color at the other, and then they meet going this way. Yeah, I hope, for the fiber people, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'm so excited about this new craft. Well, friends, that's all I have for today. This is a pretty short one, but I've been working really hard on mostly my Cozy Classic Raglan or my Cozy Classic Light and my test knit. And then just like I've been getting more involved in like some work stuff, and I've been trying to think really hard about like what it means to me to monetize my hobby or like provide services. I've been thinking a lot about like what I can do for like my community, whether that's like my knitting community, my local community, and I really want to I really want to start doing things like making knitwear for people custom, where like I consult with them and then we like find a shared vision and then I knit it for them. I guess that's what a commission is, but I don't know, I just really like that communal aspect to it, and so I'm really trying to think about what that will look like for me and how I'll execute that. So I guess keep an eye out for that if that's something you're interested in. But other than that, happy January, happy almost Aquarius season. I hope everyone's well and everyone stays safe, and love to you all. Bye.